Hello, Internet. Cooperative games are nothing new, but you've got to admit that in the 6 years since Matt Leacock's Pandemic was nominated for Spiel des Jahres, the field has blossomed. There are tons of co-op games on the market right now. There's stuff like Ghost Stories, Hanabi, Samurai Spirit, Freedom, The Underground Railroad, Marvel Legendary, Legendary Encounters, Sentinels of the Multiverse, Flashpoint, Dead Panic, Castle Panic, Pandemic the Cure, which isn't, oddly enough, about 80s goth music, Yggdrasil, Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert. These are all just some of the cooperative games that are out there. Now, one thing that a lot of players agree on is that co-op games suffer from the alpha player problem. The co-op game experience is prone to being hijacked by the alpha player. Now, oftentimes the alpha player is the person who knows the game the best and therefore knows what to do. But just as often, the alpha player is just someone with a dominant personality who doesn't have a clue what's really going on. Now, some designers try to counter the alpha player problem mechanically. Hanabi, for example, limits the amount of information that you are allowed to transmit from player to player. So an alpha player really has to be subtle to tell someone what to do without actually violating the rules of the game and cheating. Similarly, XCOM by Eric Lang puts a time constraint on the game, and it is very hard for the alpha player to be bossy enough and fast enough to tell everyone what to do before the time runs out and the aliens take over. But I'm here to provide an alternate solution to the alpha player problem. Instead of trying to figure a way around how to get the alpha player out of your co-op game, try instead playing one versus many games. Put that pesky alpha player in the driver's seat and put their dominant personality, big ego, or superior intellect to good use as the dangerous Jack the Ripper, the evil Dracula, a Mother Superior, or a horde of flesh-eating zombies, while everyone else at the table gets the joy of cooperating against the alpha player. In one versus many games, the object is for one player to fight against the rest of the group. There are lots of different games that do this, but basically the idea is that everyone gets to cooperate except for that one guy who wants to run the show anyway. So let him do his thing. Some of the earliest one versus many games were things like Hero Quest. They're dungeon crawl adventures where one player is sort of the game master or dungeon master. This harks back to the days of Dungeons and Dragons where one player would run the show and everyone else would tell the story cooperatively. Hero Quest, Doom, Descent, Star Wars Imperial Assault. These are all examples of dungeon crawl style games, even if some of them happen to be set in a galaxy far, far away. Other one versus many games are chases. Things like Scotland Yard, Letters from Whitechapel, Fury of Dracula, or the new Specter Ops. In these games, one player is moving secretly around the board while the other players are trying to capture them. The bioterrorist expansion for Pandemic turns a purely cooperative game into a one versus many. If one versus many games tend to have a flaw, it's that the one really needs to know the game well in order to have a chance at succeeding. So if you've got an alpha player who is the best player at the table, this is the perfect solution for you. So if you don't want the ace player to spoil the fun of a cooperative game, try a one versus many game. The single alpha player will enjoy putting his or her wits up against the combined hive mind of the group. Meanwhile, the cooperative players will really enjoy taking that person down. One versus many games, a solution to a problem you may not even have known you have. Leave a comment below or tweet us at Snakes and Lattes telling us your favorite one versus many game. And as always, don't forget to ask questions at asksnakes@snakesandlattes.com. And if you and I are ever in a one versus many game, know this: I will take you down.